Hey guys, so I'm back at it again with another hero deck profile. I kind of make it a monthly tradition to do so, and yeah, I've kind of made a couple new tech choices. I kind of blinged out the deck a bit more, so I kind of want to showcase that to you guys. So pretty much, I'm confident to say that the deck is max rarity, and I'm just really pleased with. It took a while, but yeah, I'm just really happy with it. You know, every now and then when I get bored, I just kind of look at it and it's like, wow, this is so beautiful. Especially, you know, you need to look at pretty things, especially in this really depressing time. So, without further ado, let's get to the deck profile. Okay, so to start off with, I play one, two, three Stratos. So I added this one over here, which is the oh, not this one over here. So this is Alti Euro Elemental Hero Stratos. So it's called Airman, and my God, is it beautiful! And if you could see with some of the ultis that Konami kind of prints, the Euros and the North American ones are very different. So you can see here the Euro one is a lot more darker and pronounced in the shading. So it's just a lot more fresher looking, whereas the North American one's a lot lighter, and on the detail and also in the foil as well too. So really happy that I finally got it. So yeah, it's just I was holding out for a while. It took a while to get it. I had to get it all the way from France. So shout out to eBay. Thanks for the guy for hooking me up. And yeah, so Stratos again. You know, you don't really need that much intro to it. It's the card you always want to see in your hand. Even in multiples, it's fine because you could just search the forest and then dump the other Stratos that you have or the other hero and then just go off. So pretty much a card that you always want to see in your hand, and it pretty much starts your plays. And also pops cards on the field as well too. So definitely needs to be run at 3, especially if you're running a going first build. Okay, so actually, we'll just keep them over here. We'll stack everything. So next 3 elemental heroes. So I run 1 Shadow Mist, 1 Liquid Soldier, and 1 Honest Neos. So I only find that I really need just 1 of each, especially of these 2 over here. With Shadow Mist, I know a lot of people like to run the second one just because they like to you know, get another search, or they, you know, if they used it for the Shadow Mist effect off of a hero lives. I find that I was only really resolving Shadow Mist only once, or maybe like just once per game, pretty much, in all my duels. And I found that I also play Decider in my deck, so if I want to recur it, I kind of just do so with that, and I use that other Shadow Mist as a effect as well too. So if I need to, like, I can dump it off of if I add it back to my hand with Decider, and I have like you know, a droplet set, I'm able to, you know, use my droplets, use the Shadow Mist in my hand, and kind of you know, go +1 while I negate my opponent as well too. So yeah, I feel like 1 is the correct ratio for my deck, at least, because I do run some other techs in my deck, so I kind of want to keep it nice at 41. So if any more than 1 kind of feels a little cloggy, like, I don't want to see 2 Shadow Mists in my hand because that's kind of useless right there. So to prevent that, I just run 1. And Liquid's always good, so I kind of run up. Most often than not, I run both of its effects depending on the situation. So if I have Mass Change already in hand, then I don't use the normal summon effect. I just kind of like try to use a draw 2, discard 1. If I don't have it, then and I have a setup where I can use him to normal on the field and special, and somehow get the Shadow Mist in the grave and special that and get my Mass Change, and I'll do so. So that's usually a 1 card combo with Fusion Destiny, which again everyone should be playing, especially in this format. Yeah, so really good card. And then Honest Neos is just, you know, he's a good boy because he just kind of like boosts up your cards, buffs up your Dark Claw, Plasma, Bane, any card that you really need to be able to run over your opponents. Okay, so again, Vision Hero engine, don't really have to go over this. Well, the only thing we really need to go over is how expensive they are now. Apparently they're like 30, $35 a pop. So I don't know why they're going so expensive. Maybe just people are really bored and they just want to buy out heroes. So, it doesn't really matter to me because I already have my set, but it's kind of shitty for other people that want to get into heroes. So yeah, hopefully Konami does give a reprint for them. Regardless, it doesn't affect me because I'm never going to sell this deck and I'm always going to keep it at max. So yeah, this the better for everybody if they get a reprint, I guess. I play 2 increase, so yeah, it's correct ratio. You don't want to draw the one, so you play the other one as well too, and then 2 Vion. So pretty much like probably the second most important card in this deck, besides Stratos, in my opinion, because like he can still do stuff when you normal him, and then you dump, and then you search polymerization. So you can just go off and OTK your opponent just by normaling this guy. So now for Destiny Hero, so you play 2 Malleys because you only get to play 2. So a good extender in the grave, good card to dump off of Forest or Fusion Destiny. We played the 1 Decider. Decider, again, is still really, really good IMO, especially since I use these Fusion Destiny combo. Like a lot of people sleep on Dangerous' ability to dump this guy in the grave, and then when you play Cross Crusader, you can just bring him back, and then you get your recursion right there. So definitely, whenever I draw Fusion Destiny, which is like every single game mostly, I resolve Decider. So I found I was doing that more than Celestial's effect. So I found that was helping me win more games. So I decided to play Decider more, even though Celestial is still a good card. It's just with the way the format is, like if you don't have your your play set by your first or second turns, like by the 4th turn, like it should already be the game should already be decided 90% of the time. That's just how the format is. So Celestial, like you're resolving it probably 2nd or 3rd turn if you don't have any cards in your hand, which if you do play hand traps, you're going to have cards in your hand. So I found, Decider is really good. If you're especially going to run like 8 or 9 hand traps, you could still resolve Decider regarding on how your hand is and all that. So, and then he also has some cool effects. So he has a Dark Door effect where I think level 6. Yeah, level 6 or higher monsters, they can't attack you. So that's kind of cool. And like every now and then you might get an opponent that like plays, I don't know, like dinos or something because they're unga bunga and they don't really, they're just low IQ players and they'll just try to attack you and wonder why can't I attack you and all that, just because you don't read cards. So and then he also has some cool effects where when your opponent does effect damage, you get to negate that and then bring this card back to your hand. So when he's in the grave, so definitely all those effects definitely come up. It has good synergy too with Dynatag also. So if you use Dynatag's effect and this is in grave, you bring this card back to your hand. You cancel out the damage. Your opponent takes 1,000, and then you get another monster in your hand for your next turn. So you could kind of go off, and if you need that to mass change material or a card to normal, then you're good to go with that. So that's Decider. Dynatag is a good boy because cards that go really big get really big, like get like around 8,000. They'll try to OTK you and all that. You just use this as your battle fader, and then your opponent takes 1,000, you take 1,000. So you pretty much save yourself for the next turn for a nice top deck and win in Jaden Yuki style. So definitely good card. He's also good for boosting up Dystopia, which definitely comes up in this format because Zoo Eldritch is a deck. So when you know that your opponent is playing Zoo Eldritch, you just kind of and you have Fusion Destiny, you play Fusion Destiny, buff it up, and then when your opponent normals any kind of Zoo monster, you just kind of pop it right away, so you don't have to deal with Zeus or any shenanigans they have, and hope that you don't have a Barrage. Okay, and then Plasma. Plasma's still a good card, I find. Not as great in this format as it was last format because Infernomals and Rocket Links were more widely spread. But now you're still seeing people play. Some people are still playing Rockets. Some people are playing Emancipator. What was the deck? Prank Kids, I think. So Emancipators are probably making a research. So you want to get rid of the effects on the field. So when you Turbo Plasma, they can't really do a lot of that stuff. So yeah, really, really good card. You know, whenever I can't make Dark Claw, I usually try to make this guy, and he saves my butt a lot of times. So really, really good card, especially with the Honest Neos in hand. Yeah, so we'll play we'll show our our Evil Hero package. So I play the one. If you've been seeing my videos, you've been seeing me play these two guys, and I've explained them a lot. So this is another extender engrave. So when you have this in the grave, where you can dump it so many ways, like with heroes in this deck, you could discard cards like crazy, or have them in the grave so much, like with the dumps off of Forest and off of Vion, Fusion Destiny. Fusion Destiny can dump a lot of people know they can dump this and this off of Dangerous, and you can go +3. So these are just some cool things that you have. So with this hero deck that I'm playing right now, I have lots of options and lots of options covered. So I can just a lot of people complain about not having 3 Mallies, but it doesn't really hurt me that much because I tend to go off all the time. So, and they also complain about Plasma because, like, oh yeah, it was so much easier making with 2 Mallies. I'm like, it's still pretty easy for me, honestly. And then I use the Miracle Fusion every now and then if I have to, just because again, like I kind of told you, like after the third or fourth turn, like most likely the games, if you're not winning by then, like chances are you're kind of losing and all that, or it's unless you guys both bricked. So sometimes it's good to just pop off resources and all that and just keep going and all that. So and just swing for the fences. So again, this guy pretty much banishes and gets this guy on the field. So the nice thing about this than Mally is with Mally, you can only banish it from the grave and then special from the deck. With Necrom, you can banish it from the grave and then special it from the deck or the hand. So if you hard drew this and all that, this card is not dead. You can still use it as an extender, so it's still really good. No, I mean, this card's not dead, so it's still used as extender. You can also, it's funny, I've actually, even though this card, everyone knows it as the Dark Calling Searcher, there's a couple times when I had like Dark Claw in the field, and I had Necrom in the grave, and I just kind of wanted to just beat on my opponent, and he was close to death, so I just pretty much banished this guy, and I specialed this guy from my deck, and then this guy can actually attack if there's a fusion, if there is a fusion monster on the field. So if there's Dark Claw on the field, you can attack. So yeah, just a couple usages of him. So he just kind of like adds more plays to you. So I kind of feel like he's a really slept on card, and definitely I think a lot of people should play him. Definitely underrated, I find, in this deck. So I play 2 Ashes, because Ashes still is a really good card in this format. It's good against Drytrons, good against VWs. So you just need to know what cards you need to hit. So with Drytrons, I try to hit the Dawn Knight, maybe the Ben 10 that wasn't kind of used off of Alpha, and then so I can just hit that first one, and then just try to like aim swing for the fence. And against like VWs, their deck kind of bricks a lot as well too. So usually if you ash the Lulu or the Lao Lao or something, or you're kind of Gucci and all that, or the Searcher in the Grave. I forget what his name is. I just don't remember those cards. I just kind of always ask my opponent what their effects are, so I can just make sure I'm hitting the right cards, which is what a lot of people should do, and then read them after so your opponent doesn't shard you. But Ash is still really good, I find. And he's also good against ashing the Red Eyes Fusion, which, funny enough, a lot of people, for some reason, hard draw on me. So I'm just like, you know what? Screw that, Ash. And I don't want to deal with it. And then, they scoop after. Fuck that card. So, yeah, I'm playing Skullmeisters in this deck, and I actually ended up getting the secret first ed ones. I got a good deal on these, so they were like about $30-$40 from the person I bought it from, Normally they're about like 80 or $90 right now, which is insane each. So really, really good card in this format. I feel like it hits every single deck pretty well. So it hits Drytrons obviously with the Dawn Knights, the Union Carry combo with the Dawn Knights, and then also Ben 10 searches. It hits that. Hits a lot of things in VW Virtual World. Hits lots of things in Zoo Eldritch. Well, predominantly the Eldritch stuff. Hits Dinos too. Like hits Misk. So really, really good card. Even hits like hero decks as well too, if you know what to hit as well. So really, really good card this format. So I know a lot of people play this or Bell. I like this guy better because he has more uses. I think he's good against meta and rogue, whereas Bell seems to be only kind of good for just meta. So that's kind of why I play him. So off to the spells. So I play 3 Mass Change, pretty self-explanatory. Don't have to go into that. You play Mass Hero, so you want to see that card as much as you can. 3 Fusion Destinies should be self-explanatory, but again, I need to reiterate. This is one of the best cards in the deck. This should be played. I know a lot of people say like, oh yeah, like I don't want to play, like I get locked into Dark Heroes. Dude, your best fucking heroes are Dark Heroes. Plasma, Bane, Darklaw. They're Dark Heroes. Why do you want to play fucking Great Tornado? Why do you want to play, other shit like Shining and stuff? You don't need to when you have this. If you want to play other elemental heroes, play a Skuradal, which you could resolve underneath this anyways. So I don't play that because that card is garbage anyways, but still, Fusion Destiny, really, really good card. Like, it's 1 card Darklaw, 1 card Plasma, 1 card Trinity. I don't know. It's just so much stuff. And it's like, it's also a 1.5 card Dystopia Plasma, which I play in my deck. If you've been following my profiles, I've been playing Dystopia. With this and Mass Change, it's 1 card Dystopia and Darklaw. So it's just protection for your Darklaw and all that. So I know a lot of people say like, heroes die to Dark Hole and Lightning Storm. Nope, not me. Just bad hero players that don't think, I guess. But yeah, just play this card until something else comes better. If there's like a masked hero card which kind of like is like this, but you get to get contrast, by all means play that over that. But until then, play this. So I play 1 Ecall, 1 Rhoda, and 1 Hero Live. So I cut down the Ecall from 2 to 1 because I needed to put some more cards in my deck. So I found that I was searching enough, seeing Stratos enough, seeing Forest enough, that these cards were kind of a luxury and all that. And I had to put more hand traps and more kind of interrupts and more text in my deck. So that's kind of why I cut it down. I know a lot of hero players are purists and saying like, oh no, you should always run Ecall at 3. You should always run Rhoda, and then you should always run this and that. But dude, yeah, sure. Like, that's great for 3, 4, 5 formats ago. But now heroes have to compete with certain formats right now where, like, you're getting hand trapped as shit. Because, everyone's kind of going second, and they're running, like, at least about 10, 12 hand traps. So, you need to have the cards in your hand and try to play through it as best as you can. And I think searching, like, those cards are great for adding consistency, but redundant consistency, in my opinion, is not better than power cards that you need to be able to compete with the meta, and tech cards as well too. So that should not trump that as well too. So maybe if certain things change with the meta, I might go back to running 2 or 3 Ecalls, but right now I just don't feel like I need to. And that's just and Rhoda is really good. A lot of people say like, oh, but you run Rhoda, why don't you just run 2 Ecalls? Because it's like, Rhoda is actually really good on its own part, because you could run, sometimes if you have your Forest play stopped, you want your Vion still. So this still searches Vion, which is, again, like probably in my opinion, probably second best card in the main, besides Stratos and stuff. And well, third best card besides Stratos and Forest. So really, really good card. And then Hero Lives. Funny enough, I've been encountering people that don't like to run Hero Lives as well too. It's like, oh, I lose half my life points. Who cares? You bait the stupid hand trap, and then if you resolve this card, most often than not, you win. So again, run that card. Side it out to game 3 if you're worried about time. So we run, these are the fusion cards that we need to search. So you run Miracle Fusion, Poly, Dark Calling, pretty self-explanatory. Searchable off of Sunriser, searchable off of Ion, searchable off of Dark Calling. For some reason, though, I always see at least one of these cards in my hand regardless. But, it can't be helped. For tech cards, so Forbidden Droplets, I play 2. I find that's the correct ratio in this deck. Well, at least this one I play right now. You need this card in this meta. Unfortunately, you won't be able to compete very well without it, especially against VWs, or even, what's the other card? Well, against Drytrons, you could probably get away with running Dark Rulers, but for VWs, you need to have this card, especially if they don't have the Chu-Chi pop. You need something to be able to stop Calamities. And I'm sorry, but Dark Ruler Nowhere is not enough because they always run, most often than not, they kind of use VFD's effect in standby. So, and then, if your opponent has Chu-Chi, I run Cosmic so you can pop that stupid Chu-Chi, use as material, and then, basically negate their VFD in an OTK. So definitely, we have a VFD format. If we don't have a VFD format, which most likely we won't after next month, because it's just a stupid fucking card, then definitely you can run still Dark Ruler no more, or even like Droplets and stuff. No, even Chalice. Chalice is fine as well too. I think Chalice is kind of a budget option for this, so definitely you can probably run Chalice instead. I just like this because your opponent can interrupt. So when I'm using it against Drytrons, I can just use this without them using any of their Heralds or Ava in their hand. So they just pretty much are dead in the water after that point. Well, I might have to go through a negate or maybe a Lancia, but most often than not, I can OTK after that, just with the way I play the deck. Last 2 cards. So I play 1 Talents. I like running this at 1. I ran it at 3 before. I found it was too bricky, and I didn't like it that much at 3 because for some reason I would see it in my hands, but I would never resolve it or never would win me games. But I find it's like this nice spicy one of that if your opponent hand traps you and you have it on your hand, you still have a way out because your deck can play through 1 or 2 hand traps, but with this you can probably play through 3. And then hopefully draw into something nice and then go off. So definitely good card, especially, and also when your opponent definitely uses Dragoon. So like Zoo, Dragoon is definitely a deck that I see a lot. Your opponent uses Dragoon's effect, you just take it and then win the game. You can just burn whatever cards they have and just attack, and then attack with your hero monsters. So really good card. And then also worst case scenario, if you have a really busted hand anyways, you could just look at their hand for the Forceful Sentry effect and discard whatever hand trap they have, maybe the Nibiru and stuff, and then just laugh at them. So really good card. And then I run 1 Cosmic because of VWs and Mystic Mine, just in case your opponent wants to troll you and you don't want any of that. Okay, so that's the main. So we'll just go quickly over the extra deck. So again, we have 2 Dark Claws, my nice babies. They're ulti, obviously. I don't really have to go through it. This card is really good against meta right now, so it is great against the meta, but you can't depend solely on it. You still need to have some cards, like some protection. So like what I do is, again, I run Dystopia. I have like a 1-2 card combo, so I'm able to protect it and then kind of go off of that. But also people kind of run Zeus as well too, so you have to also be wary of that. So apparently Dark Claw doesn't do anything against Zeus, or even what's the other card? Dragoon. Yeah, Dragoon is kind of free against. I run 1 Mass Hero Blast. Other really good. It's just really good just for outing back row right now. Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't running Veilers or impermanences and stuff, which this was really good because you just mass change Stratos and then just go off back into your plays, change the target. But it still comes up. Some people still play Veiler and Imperm because they can afford droplets. But still, I find like it's a really, really good card. And also, it's not really Veiler and Imperm isn't really good against the meta. It doesn't really do anything against. Well, it does stuff against Drytron, like it hits vanity rulers and stuff. But a lot of people are playing their turboing Ultimateness or something, Ultimateness, or Perfection, or the Link, whatever that's called, Mirage or whatnot. So definitely they've kind of adapted. So they're not just playing vanity rulers pass with 3 interruptions in hand anymore. So definitely. Yeah, but this is still good for outing their Konami 1, outing, back row cards that are problematic, like, what's the other one? Anti-spell as well, too. So it's really good for outing that. So really, really good card I run as one. And also, like, half your opponent attacks, so you can beat over it if you want. Play 1 Master Hero Acid, it's good against back row, so really easy. Just mass change liquid and then, go off. But most often than not, you already have this guy on field, so, you just mass change that, destroy all monsters, and then you destroy all spells and traps. So, and then you hopefully go +2, discard 1. So, and then Sunriser, really slept on card in this deck, really, really good. It's your Miracle Searcher, buffs your cards, and also adds a nice little pop protection for your heroes as well too. So really, really good card. Bane. For some reason, a lot of people are telling me that Bane's not good in this format, which I find really hilarious because Bane is amazing. And a Dusted Gold, if anything, is still a good extender. And from what I've heard, extenders are pretty good in this. Are pretty good in Yu-Gi-Oh. So you want as many as you can. Last thing you want to do is like be dead in the water. And I know a lot which decks play it. They play the Super Poly variant, but which I have no problem with the but I just kind of like feel like this deck has more firepower because you have Fusion Destiny, you have your Evil Hero package, you have all the stuff they have as well too. They just have their Super Poly, which is just one thing. So, and I find that Super Poly isn't the greatest against the meta right now. It's just not really, it doesn't do anything against VWs. It might do something against Drytrons if they're not running Vanity's Rulers, but they still have Vanity's Ruler, Ultimateness, and then something else. So you can't even special over them. So like you need something else, right? So you're just dead in the water because you can't special. You need to like negate and all that. So you need droplets. So, run this guy. He wins games. He's good against Dragoon. He's good against just, after you got nibbed, you need to get another monster on the field. You blow up their stupid rock, and then you have material if you're a mass change for next turn that hopefully will be enough for you to win. So, Destiny Hero package. So I play 1 Dangerous, 1 Dystopia, and then my Spice. If you probably see my channel, Dystopia. So, Dangerous is really good. He's really good for. He pretty much sets up the Dystopia play that I have, which only requires 1.5 cards in hand. So just 1 Fusion Destiny and 1 random hero. So I can just go off into that. And I have the Dystopia combo in my channel. So if you guys want to see that, feel free. Dystopia obviously is really good in this deck as well too. It's good for popping cards and then burn damage. This card is really good for setting up. It helps you set up the 1 card Dark Claw, the 1.5 card Dystopia Plasma, the one it just does a lot for this deck. Very, very underrated card. I find Dangerous, and also he also sets up Decider plays where you can just have recursion as well too. So lots and lots of options just with Dangerous alone. And Dystopia is really good because he protects 1 monster from being destroyed by card effects or battle. So that's your Dark Claw or your Plasma. So very, very slept on card I find as well too. And surprisingly, catches a lot of people off guard still. 1 Trinity big boy. You need this card. Dogmatica is not really super played in this format right now, but still people do play it from time to time. Like he's also he's really good for punching Ecclesia 3 times and then you win for game. But also Zoo Eldritch is kind of making a little comeback now because people are doing well with it. And this guy is pretty good against one monster they use, Mega Clops. So you have this, Honest Neo, 7500, punch that 4K booty 3 times, and then you pretty much win. Play 2 Cross Crusaders, you have to. Two always comes up. Every single game I play always comes up at 2. Very rarely. I know some people play at 1, but I think that's incorrect, and they kind of pay for it in a way. So definitely 2 is really good. Definitely comes up in the grind as well too. And then 1 Dread. Dread is very good too. Dread is he gets really big, makes your monsters really big, gives you a dystopia pop, and then does piercing. Piercing actually does come up a lot for me, surprisingly, and then also boosts up anything underneath. So if you have a nice Dark Claw that wants to get bigger and stronger, get underneath Dread, and then he can make it happen. And 1 Wonder Driver. Wonder Driver comes up a lot in this deck, especially the way I play it, and since I have so many extenders. Alone, because I play Mali and Necrom, like, it comes up a lot, and yeah, very, very good card. I think in the people that only play the Mali, it doesn't come up as much, but they still like to play it, but for me, it literally comes up every other game. So, Wonder Driver is a really, really good card, especially if you want to go double Dark Law, which is which is a really, really good thing this format. Okay, so we're just going to go quickly into our side deck, and then I know this video is running a bit long, but just bear with me. So I play 3 Exchange. So when I play remote duels, I play Drag Down by the Grave, which does the same thing essentially. So, but whenever I play online, Dueling Book, and like Nexus and stuff, Exchange is really, really good. Yeah, just still waiting for Cross-Out Designator or Konami. Like, come on, hook us up. Like, we need it. But Exchange is really, really, really good card. Especially, I just kind of set all the cards I need usually, and then I have a brick still left in my hand with Exchange. I run Exchange, and then I hand check them, see their hand, and then if they have Nibiru or any other problem cards like board wipes or even like very important one-ofs, I just take it, and then they can't really do anything. I just keep it in my hand. So really, really good card. Drag Down by the Grave is also pretty similar too, but your opponent can Ash that, whereas your opponent can't really do anything with Exchange. So they just have to kind of sit there and take it. That's kind of why I like it. So we still play the Gamma package. This is also nice, and it's nice and collector's rare. So I find this card is still pretty good. People are kind of slowly playing around it. So like if you use it once, they can tell like, okay, this guy's playing, he's waiting and all. They try to play around it as well too. So like you still have to be very careful what you hit because it can be very crucial and detrimental to them. But they can play through it every now and then if you hit the wrong thing. So definitely against Drytrons and VWs, you have to be careful and stuff. So, but if you do hit the right things, most often than not, they die to that hand trap, which is very impactful. So Lightning Storm's still a good card against back row. You play it. It's also good against siding, going second, blind. If your opponent doesn't have any protection up, you just use this. Destroy their monsters that are face-up attack, and then go for game, hopefully. We play 2 Cosmics just for more back row. We play the one of just in case you don't get cheesed up by Mystic Mind, which is never a good feeling. So definitely run this. This is good against Virtual World. So definitely comes up. You pop the Chi-Chi, pop their cards. Really good against Eldritch as well too. They need those cards in the grave to initiate their grind game and all that. So when you use this against them, it takes that away from them. So I run the one extra droplets. So I find, whenever I need the third one, I just kind of side it back in. I feel like 2 most of the time is what I need in the main, going first or second blind. So whenever I need it, I just side it in appropriately. This is something I kind of added new. So this is Dimensional Barrier. So I kind of like this. So a lot of my times when I'm facing against Drytrons, like I do run Dark Law, but if my opponents do have the Drytron Nova or they have the extenders and they're able to get 2 level 1s on the field, they can go into Zeus. And even if you do have Dark Law, they can still break your board and all that. But whenever they do that, I just call what you call Xyz before, so they can't Zeus me and all that. So I find that's really good. This is also really good against Zoo Eldritch. You just call Xyz, they can't go into Zeus or even Trident at all. So yeah, really really good card. Against VWs, I call Synchro, so they can't go into their place to make calamities and all that and spam. So definitely the spice of the deck, I find. Also when I like run Plasma and all that, and you know my opponent does play Drytron, they have a way of outing that by playing Natasha. So what I kind of do is I try to so because I don't want to have Natasha on the field because they try to get Natasha on the field, but I call Ritual so they can't use that effect and all that. So definitely good card. And then one red reboot. So just because, you know, usually when you resolve this against Geist or Guru or any back row heavy deck, or even Eldritch is pretty good against Wall too. Like they can't resolve Sanguine and whatever traps they have. You usually win the game. So really good card. Anyways, guys, that's my deck profile. Sorry I went a bit long. You know, I kind of went off on a bit, but hope you guys liked it. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, see you guys soon.